प्रसारण मंत्री तथा युवा कार्यक्रम एवं खेल मंत्री माननीय श्री अनुराग सिंह ठाकुर जी तथा मंच पर आसीन अन्य अतिथिगणों से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वह दीप प्रज्वलन करके इस कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ करें।
Now I invite Officer Trainee Ms. Rashmi Pradhan to present a plan to the Chief Guest, Honorable Minister Shri Anurag Singh Thakur.
अब मैं IIMC के महानिदेशक प्रोफेसर संजय द्विवेदी से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वह अंगवस्त्र पहनाकर माननीय मंत्री जी का स्वागत करें।
I invite Officer Trainee Ms. Srishti to present a plan to Principal Director General PIB Shri Rajesh Malhotra.
मैं IIMC महानिदेशक प्रोफेसर संजय द्विवेदी जी से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वह अंगवस्त्र पहनाकर प्रधान महानिदेशक सर का स्वागत करें। यह हमारा सौभाग्य है कि आज हमारे बीच मुख्य अतिथि केंद्रीय सूचना एवं प्रसारण तथा युवा कार्यक्रम एवं खेल मंत्री माननीय श्री अनुराग सिंह ठाकुर जी मौजूद हैं। श्री ठाकुर देश के एक अग्रणी गतिशील युवा नेता हैं। इनके नेतृत्व में सूचना एवं प्रसारण मंत्रालय प्रतिदिन नए आयाम छू रहा है, जिसके भाग हम सभी हैं। सभी प्रशिक्षु अधिकारी जो अपने करियर के एक नए अध्याय की शुरुआत करने जा रहे हैं, आपकी उपस्थिति से आज प्रेरित महसूस कर रहे हैं। अब वह क्षण आ गया जिसका हम सभी को इंतजार था। 2019 में इन्हें सांसद के रूप में उत्कृष्ट प्रदर्शन के लिए संसद रत्न पुरस्कार दिया गया। इन्हें सामाजिक कल्याण, विशेष रूप से हेल्थ केयर, शिक्षा और खेलों के क्षेत्र में उल्लेखनीय योगदान के लिए चैंपियंस ऑफ चेंज 2019 पुरस्कार से सम्मानित किया गया और यह उस वर्ष इस पुरस्कार से सम्मानित होने वाले अकेले केंद्रीय मंत्री बने। इन्हें वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम द्वारा यंग ग्लोबल लीडर का भी सम्मान दिया गया है। माननीय मंत्री जी को ग्लोबल फंड ने टीबी हारेगा देश जीतेगा आह्वान के तहत क्षय रोग के बारे में जागरूकता पैदा करने और मल्टी स्टेक होल्डर पहल तैयार करने के लिए सार्वजनिक स्वास्थ्य की श्रेणी में अपना ग्लोबल चैंपियन बनाया। सम्मानित अतिथि केंद्रीय सूचना एवं प्रसारण मंत्री तथा युवा कार्यक्रम एवं खेल मंत्री माननीय श्री अनुराग सिंह ठाकुर जी से मैं अनुरोध करूंगा कि वह सभा को संबोधित कर प्रशिक्षु अधिकारियों का उत्साहवर्धन और मार्गदर्शन करें।
Dignitaries on the dais, officials from the Information and Broadcasting Department, Government of India, officer trainees of various batches of information service, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you. Namaste. I am thrilled to see so many young, enthusiastic officers, eager and prepared to dedicate their energy towards serving the nation. My heartfelt congratulations to all the 52 officers of the 2018, 2019 and 2020 batches of IIS for joining this prestigious service. The Indian Information Service proudly and very adequately serves that role of communication and outreach. You act as a mediator and messenger of critical information to the masses. And it is very important to serve a country like India with 1.4 billion population, largely living in the villages, remote areas. So I recall the words of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who once said, and I quote, "When the distance between the government and the public is narrowed, new and effective ways of communications are made. The people consider themselves as an integral part of the decision-making process and come forward for the task of the nation building." I unquote. This is true for an empowered citizen is a well-informed one. There lies the strength of our democracy. Friends, soon you will be performing the crucial roles of communicating to the people via various medias key information about the policies and programs of the central government. And on the face of it, this may seem a simple task. In reality, it is far more complex than you think. You can ask Mr. Rajesh Malhotra about it. You will not be just communicating information. You will be adding value to information to ensure it is not lost in the cacophony of 24/7 media. You will be presenting information in a manner to make it sufficiently attractive for media to use it prominently, even on days crowded with the breaking news. Friends, you will have to master the art of converting otherwise dull but useful government information into breaking news. And you will have to do all this and more at breakneck speed. The 24-hour news cycle is getting increasingly shorter. As a result, new redundancy is rising at a speed never imagined before. You have to get your information in and before it is rendered redundant. Again, Mr. Malhotra, Ashish ji, both of them, they can share their experience with you when they joined the service and how it has changed with the passage of time. How the technology is making it more difficult for all of us. On one hand, sharing of information, dissemination has become easier with the new technology and the tools available. On the other hand, when time is a constraint, it becomes a very challenging, and I think you're going to experience this in the coming years. So my purpose is not to scare you, but to give you a sense of what you are expected to achieve in your role as frontline information disseminators. The days of only printed press statements issued at the end of the day are no longer, are over. I mean, we could say that. In today's digital age, a mere 280 words or characters have the power to influence a staggering 8 billion population worldwide. Such is the unfathomable reach of a single tweet or a digital post in our interconnected world. In today's technology-driven era of information consumption, you will be in a constant race, a race against time, a race to compete with non-official information disseminators, and a race to ensure the information you have to offer is more wholesome, more useful, and more reliable than what is being offered by others. You are joining the service at a time when tectonic shifts are happening in information dissemination as well as consumption. This is the 5G era, when text, voice, and visuals are moving at an amazing speed of nanofractions of a second and landing on platforms that did not exist even a decade ago. Earlier, real-life conversations happened over content in newspapers and magazines. Now virtual conversations, more intense, more involved, and more influencing, are happening over digital content. Television, which grabbed the space being vacated by print media, has shrunk from big screen to handheld devices. OTT content, often unstructured, has begun to replace structured content offered by television newsrooms. As we move from 5G to 6G, which will be your era, we have to understand the emerging pattern of quest for information and consumption of information. There was a yawning gap between the 4G and 5G. The gap between the 5G and 6G will be much shorter. Hence, you don't have the luxury of time or a relaxed approach. The clock is ticking and you have to be on the right side of time. My dear friends, India, as the world's largest democracy, has to be an equal participant in giving shape and form to the new information order. Democracies are rooted in constitutional law, are nurtured by regular, free and fair elections, thrive on public discourse. In turn, public discourse rests on information or the lack of it, or even worse, disinformation. So public discourse which is informed is a good for the nation, for the government and for the stakeholders in our great democracy, the people of India. Public discourse which is ill-informed weakens the nation, tarnishes its institutions and weakens trust in the elected government. So public discourse which is influenced by the malicious disinformation is corrosive and dangerous for democracy and the national interest. In fact, we are witnessing an alarming rise in malicious disinformation dissemination. This is a global phenomenon, what is called the infodemic, greatly facilitated by the advent of social media platforms. Democratization of public spaces offered by the tech platforms has no doubt had a positive impact, allowing a bottom-up participation in popular debate and discourse. But malicious, weaponized disinformation, whether internal or external, has worked against the positive gains of this democratization of public spaces. So it is of great concern, not only for us, but governments around the world, how malicious disinformation often seeks to intervene and influence the political process. The other concern is malicious disinformation, often with the external linkages, seek to create social turmoil, even anarchy in the streets, and promote cultural conflicts. The reason why I have elaborated on these points is to give you a sense of what would be your role as officers of the information service. Initial information system, prompt, precise and perfect. That is the threefold target you have to set for yourselves. My dear friends, I would like to remind you that the information service was set up at a time when a new post-war global information order was taking shape and form. Great ideological rivalry and Cold War politics framed the contours of that information order. It was driven by the West, directed at the East, and aimed at promoting perceptions of the West as those of the whole world. The affluent global North set the terms of information engagement for the less developed and developing global South. We are now witnessing the birthing of a post-pandemic new information order as geopolitical lines of alignments are being redrawn and geopolitical concerns are being reframed. The overwhelming dominance of big tech in grey, hazy, algo-driven information dissemination lies at the core of new information order. Once again, we are seeing the West giving shape and form to the new information order. big tech firmly aligned with them. What this does is it squeezes out autonomy of nation states to decide what is best for them. Just as there can't be one size fits all for democracy, there can't be one size fits all information order. Democracies are sovereign states with sovereign interest, and those interests are severely impacted by an externally enforced information order. So you would have to individually and collectively resist this imposition. As officers of the Indian Information Service, you are the frontline defenders of the India's official information system that protects India's interest and shields India's democratic structure of governance. With emerging technology continuously shaping the media landscape such as chatbots, blockchain, artificial intelligence, NFTs, it is important for you to be equipped with the latest developments. As communicators, you need to be well versed in cutting edge tools, trends, and techniques to effectively engage with audiences and communicate our messages. In last 2 years, we have adopted new ideas like audibles in the press releases, QR code in the advertisements, expanding PIB fact check, setting up PIB research unit, use of sign language on DDNews, starting with the conclaves at the DD, and new productions, innovative creatives, and content curation. As the young custodians of the service, it is essential that you seek out and explore new opportunity for connecting with citizens. And this is by no means an easy task. But I am sure all of you who have opted for this service have done so after Andhra. So I'm going to improvements and adjustments as necessary. And finally, fifth C is capacity building. And we have seen during the corona time, even the CEOs of the big tech companies to the multinational companies, from a common man to a mid-level worker, most of them have to go through reskilling, upskilling, and you have to do with the changing time. So you have continuously develop skills and knowledge to be adaptable to evolving technologies and challenges in the communication field. And finally, let me conclude by reminding you of the popular dictum, information is power. You have to use this power judiciously for the betterment of India, the strengthening of democracy, and the empowerment of the people. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I'm sorry that I have to break the protocol order because I had the flight at 1:30, but I requested Ashish ji that I'll be here by this time, meet you, and don't want to miss the opportunity to meet all of you. I wanted to stay back to have dinner, but unfortunately I can't cancel my program. So I have a flight at 4:30. So I have to leave before that and be there. I told Sanjay ji that I'll come next time to visit the IIMC separately. But I wish you all a great future, and I'm sure with our talented youngsters like you, young officials like you, Information Broadcasting Department is going to benefit. Thank you once again. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an inspiring speech. As you highlighted in the speech, information service plays a pivotal role in this data-driven world. Sir, I am sure your words will motivate all the new officers to pursue a fruitful career.
यह हम सभी के लिए एक प्रसन्नता का अवसर है कि आज हमारे अधिकारी अपने द्विवर्षीय प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम के समापन पर पहुंच चुके हैं। अब मैं मुख्य अतिथि से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वह प्रशिक्षु अधिकारियों को प्रमाण पत्र वितरित करें।
मेरे जाने के बाद स्पीच सबकी होगी, चले मत जाना।
डॉक्टर चिराग बोरानिया, मिस्टर अभिनव सक्सेना, डॉक्टर अभिषेक मिश्रा, मिस अदिति अग्रवाल, मिस्टर अजीत सिंह मीणा। मिस अंजना उन्नीकृष्णन, डॉक्टर अरुण कुमार सिंह, मिस्टर आशुतोष शुक्ला, मिस्टर अविश्रांत मिश्रा,